So we have an old house and lighting is not great in the bathroom. So I'm going to see if I can run a wire behind this to make a light up here come on to help light up this whole bathroom. So all I had to do is remove 4 of these, and it actually came out a little bit too easier than I expected, and I almost dropped it. Whew. So what I've got here is very thick bathroom walls that were built to hold plumbing, really, and so they're wider than most walls in my house. But there's also a gap here, so it's actually going to be very easy, I think. Nothing's ever easy, but it looks like it will be fairly simple. So I was able to run my wire, connecting it behind one light here, and then put the medicine cabinet back in. Now I'm getting ready to do my cutout. I've got a little tray. It's here to catch my debris to make this a little bit cleaner.
So there are lots of really good wiring videos online. I'm not here to give you wiring electrical instruction, but most of your fixtures, this is an old one, but most of them are going to have a couple of wires or 3 wires coming out. And you can connect them to the appropriate wires on the other side. If you're not comfortable with how to do that, do look at some good videos instructing on that. And if you're still not comfortable, then don't do it. It's electricity and you don't want to mess up. But usually it's pretty simple and pretty straightforward. And if you've done some wiring, then wiring a light fixture is going to be very much on the simple end.
So while I had initially had a drilled hole in the wall to pull the wire through, I was waiting till I knew what size box I was putting in here. So in my case, I am working with old plaster walls. So drywall is a little bit easier, I think, to cut and deal with. Plaster, you've got to be very careful because it will crack or break or not do what you want it to do. So I drilled 4 holes in the corners, and then I scored very heavily where I was going to cut with my multi-tool here, and then went about cutting with it. It is easier to cut drywall with this than anything else that I use. So if you have plaster, if you have drywall, you may not need to use a tool like this to cut. But once I cut it, I was very pleased actually with this, and of course I'm starting with no hole here at all, so I had to create one, to make sure it was centered exactly where I want it to be and ready to go for the project. So the piece came out pretty easily, and I was able then to start working my box on. I do use a tester here before I cut the wire. I always want to make sure that my power is off. You do not want to mess with a hot wire, obviously. So here I am testing and then putting the box on to house the wiring connection. That is, wires always have to be connected in a box. You can't connect wires outside of either a box in the wall or a box in the fixture itself that some will come with, but you may not connect wires anywhere else. Again, I'm not giving you wiring instruction, but I put the box in. Then you want to prep your wires so that they're ready to connect before you try starting to connect them. So especially up here where I'm up on a step stool, I want to have the wires good and ready, have them stripped to the right amount and ready to connect in this case. And then this plate, I believe the plate came with the system, with the lighting system. I usually have a few of these around from having done a lot of these, but you want to find one that will line up with what you need. And then the plate will usually have also a connection for a ground wire on it so that you can have all of your wiring grounded and in good shape.
So the moment has arrived. Let's see what we got. Alright, so I gotta put the bottom 2 in still, but obviously we've got good power and it looks good, I think.
So the fixtures I bought were to match, and I was replacing the 2 on the bottom because they were getting a little rusty, and being in a bathroom, I wish that wouldn't happen, and maybe spending more money on them would cause it not to happen. But so I came back after I knew the wiring was good for the top and redid the bottom ones, putting the new ones in to see if they're ready to go. So not only was I pleased with the final look, but it was also what I was hoping it would do in terms of shining some light into the shower. I did not want to work into the shower to put a light fixture in there, but we were able to do that, basically to kill two birds with one stone here.